Oh my God.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Hey. It's true, I did rush here from work. I have two jobs. It's as American as apple pie. Thank you for coming. I guess I would do a brief bio. I've lived in New London for 15 years. Art is my life. I am sitting on the New London Arts Council as we speak as their public relations person, and I am the co-chair of Public Art for Racial Justice Education. It's a great joy in my life to work with an organization that uses art and education to confront racial injustice. So let's get real. If I don't become city councilor and on November 3rd I wake up the same position I have, I'm still going to fight for the arts community in this town, and I am still going to be the co-chair of a group that wants to get creative about ways to confront and end racial injustice. So that's what I'm bringing to the table. But I don't like to get in the weeds about what will happen on November 3rd, because we have a lot of work to do between now and November 2nd. Where to begin? My focus is on art. In New London, 50% of our active storefronts downtown are arts related. So it is non-negotiable that we have to treat artists and art-related businesses and organizations with respect, because they are economic drivers in New London and people. Second is our restaurant industry, I think, and we will talk about that. But I want to keep the focus on arts in my campaign, or at least keep it central, because you can attach it to almost anything. And I want to make it my job when we get to the city council to establish for everyone in government that in this town you need to be thinking about the arts. I want to give a little snapshot for people of the resilience of our arts community. In the last year and a half, we all were dealing with a pandemic, and a couple of businesses closed downtown. But in that same time frame, 3 businesses opened, and all of them are run by artists. So even a global pandemic does not scare these people. And the city needs to mimic their strength, and it needs to sit them down and talk to them about their approach, because they're fierce, and I want us to be that way as we face a recovery here in New London. We benefit from ARPA funds coming, but like I've said in another speech before, I'm still scared. We spend in New London we spend money a certain way, and I just feel very confident that if there's no change in our leadership and we get more money, there'll just be more of those mistakes.
That's right.
So moving on to the other parts of my campaign, I really am interested in housing. New London is beautiful, and it is empty. It should be filled, not with pretty pictures in our storefronts, but people, businesses, interactions, transactions. And that's what I want to kind of rejuvenate and get those things going. I would like New London to open for lunch. Every day, people get off of the ferry and off of the bus and off of the train, and they come to the job that I just left, and they ask me what's the specials today? Do you guys serve food? And I always have to send them away and tell them not till 5 p.m. And that's not just in my job, that's all over the place, and that has to stop. That's the way New London does business, and I want to change that. We are not going to survive if we're depending on the dinner crowd to fuel our restaurants. And in fact, if we have a recovery that gets us back to where we were before COVID, that will not be enough, because we lost revenue during COVID. So we need something that's going to get us not back to where we were, but expand our operating hours and change the way we do business. And that's the kind of systemic change I want to bring to New London. We have to change the way we do business. And I guess the last part of my platform that is central is mental health. Mental health can be attached to many things. And I want to make sure that people in New London are aware that the City Council is a friend of theirs and is fighting for them and believes in them and wants to offer programs and incentives for them to get better, not what we have now. Chris makes a great point that most of the mediating when it comes to domestic violence, mental health in general, and drug addiction is by police officers. And they have a very specific set of tasks that they have to keep in mind when they deal with the public, and none of it is mental health. None of it. And so we need more programs, and we need to be stronger about how we're approaching these things. I don't just want to root out people that are suffering from mental depression and find ways to get them better, although I do want to do that. I want to encourage an environment in New London that promotes positive mental health and get to the root of these problems. We do talk a lot about in our party that trauma is a big source for drug addiction. You know, that's where it starts. But I think we can dig deeper and look for what causes the trauma. And, you know, that could be a lot of things, and I want to hear about those things and see if we can make a lasting change. So, I guess I would sum up by saying something that I've been saying a lot. When I was a kid, I heard that the easy thing to do is the wrong thing to do. The difficult thing is what you need to be doing, and I want the Green Party to be represented on the City Council and in the Board of Education so that New London can do the hard thing, because that is what needs to be done. And thank you to the band.